If people ignore you when you speak English, this video will change that. Not because you will suddenly learn thousands of difficult words. Not because you will magically sound like a native speaker overnight. But because today you're going to learn something much more powerful. You are going to learn how powerful communicators think, how confident speakers organize ideas, how fluent people control conversations without shouting, how intelligent English learners sound calm, clear, sharp, and memorable. And the best part? Most people never learn this. They spend years memorizing grammar rules, years translating in their heads, years trying to sound perfect. But real communication is not about perfection. It is about connection. It is about clarity. It is about energy. I have met English learners from Brazil, Ethiopia, Japan, Germany, Mexico, Turkey, India, and South Korea who knew advanced grammar but still struggled in real conversations. And I have also met people with limited vocabulary who could walk into a room and instantly command attention. Why? Because communication is emotional before it is grammatical. People feel your confidence before they analyze your words. People react to your energy before they judge your accent. People remember clarity more than complexity. And today, I am going to teach you how to use English in a way that makes people listen. By the end of this video, you will know how to stop rambling when you speak English, how to sound more fluent even with simple vocabulary, how to speak with confidence in meetings, interviews, and conversations, how to organize your thoughts faster, how to keep people interested while you speak, how to sound calm under pressure, and how to build real speaking confidence from the inside out. This is not just another basic English lesson. This is communication training for real life. So relax, open your mind, and let's build your English confidence together. And before we begin, if you truly want to improve your English fluency, confidence, and communication skills every single week, subscribe to Daily English, like this video, and comment below telling me where you are watching from and what your biggest English speaking struggle is. I read your comments every day, and honestly, your stories inspire me. Now, let's begin. One of the biggest mistakes English learners make is believing that fluent people speak very fast. Actually, the opposite is often true. Powerful speakers speak clearly. They pause. They breathe. They let ideas land. Think about the most confident person you know. Maybe it is a business owner. Maybe a teacher. Maybe a lawyer. Maybe someone you admire online. Notice something. They do not rush every sentence. They do not panic when silence appears. They do not try to fill every second with words. But many English learners do. Why? Because silence feels dangerous. When learners pause, they think, "Oh no, people will think my English is bad." So they start adding unnecessary words. Actually, like, so, basically. And suddenly, the sentence loses power. Here is your first fluency breakthrough. Silence is not weakness. Silence is control. A short pause makes people pay attention. A pause tells listeners your words matter. A pause gives your brain time to organize thoughts. I once coached a university student named Hannah. She was intelligent. Her grammar was excellent. But during presentations, she spoke so quickly that nobody understood her clearly. One day, I gave her a challenge. I told her, after every important sentence, pause for 2 seconds. At first, she hated it. She said it felt uncomfortable, slow, awkward. But after 1 week, something changed. Her classmates listened more carefully. Her teachers interrupted less. People stopped asking her to repeat herself. Not because her English became more advanced, but because her communication became clearer. This is something advanced speakers understand. Fluency is not speed. Fluency is flow. And flow comes from rhythm. That is why great communicators speak in thought groups, not giant paragraphs. Listen carefully to this difference. Bad communication sounds like this. Yesterday I went to the store because I needed to buy something for my cousin, and then I met my friend there, and after that we talked about our jobs, and too long, too messy, too exhausting. Now listen to this. Yesterday I went to the store. I needed to buy a gift for my cousin, and something interesting happened. I unexpectedly met an old friend. We ended up talking about work for almost an hour. Notice the difference? Same story, same grammar level, but completely different energy. Clear speakers break ideas into clean pieces. This is one of the fastest ways to sound advanced in English. Now, let's talk about something most English teachers never explain properly. Your brain cannot focus on grammar and confidence at the same time. This changes everything. Many learners destroy their fluency because they try to build perfect grammar while speaking. Imagine driving a car while constantly analyzing every movement. How hard should I press the pedal? Where exactly should my hands go? What angle should I turn the wheel? You would crash. Speaking works the same way. Fluent communication requires automatic thinking, and automatic thinking only develops through repetition. That means you must stop treating speaking like a grammar test. Instead, start treating speaking like training. Athletes train, musicians train, actors train, and confident English speakers train too. One powerful exercise I recommend is called shadow speaking. Choose a confident English speaker, maybe from podcasts, maybe interviews, maybe documentaries. Listen to one sentence. Pause. Repeat it exactly. Copy the rhythm. Copy the energy. Copy the breathing. Do not just learn words. Learn musicality. Because English is musical. Native speakers do not sound natural because they know more vocabulary. They sound natural because their rhythm feels relaxed. This is why some learners sound robotic even with advanced grammar. They learned English academically, but not emotionally. You must train your ears to feel English, not just understand it. Another major communication mistake is trying too hard to sound intelligent. Ironically, this usually makes people sound less intelligent. Strong communicators use simple language, not because they are less intelligent, but because they understand clarity. Imagine two managers speaking. Manager number 1 says, "We need to implement a multifaceted strategic framework to optimize operational productivity." Manager number 2 says, "We need a simpler system so people can work faster and make fewer mistakes." Who sounds clearer? Who sounds more trustworthy? Probably the second person, because clarity creates confidence. Many English learners hide behind complicated words because they are afraid of sounding basic. But communication is not a vocabulary competition. The goal is understanding. Some of the most respected speakers in the world use surprisingly simple language. Why? Because simple language moves faster into the listener's brain. And this is especially important if English is your second language. Do not try to impress people. Try to connect with people. That single mindset shift can transform your English forever. Now, let's talk about nervousness, because almost every learner struggles with this. Maybe your hands shake during presentations. Maybe your mind goes blank. Maybe you suddenly forget vocabulary you normally know. This is normal. Your brain is protecting you. When humans feel socially judged, the nervous system becomes defensive. Your heart beats faster. Your breathing changes. Your memory weakens temporarily. But confident speakers know a secret. You do not eliminate nervousness. You redirect it. Before important conversations, stop saying, "I'm nervous." Instead say, "I'm energized." That tiny language shift changes your emotional state. Your body reactions are often similar. Fast heartbeat, high energy, increased focus. The meaning you attach to those sensations matters. I remember a learner named Miguel who had an important interview in London. He practiced grammar for weeks, but before the interview, he panicked. He told me, "My English disappears when I feel pressure." So I taught him something simple. Before entering the building, he stopped outside. He rolled his shoulders back. He breathed slowly, and he repeated this sentence. "I do not need perfect English. I need clear communication." That interview changed his confidence forever. Not because he suddenly became perfect, but because he stopped fighting himself. And this is important. Confidence is not the absence of mistakes. Confidence is the ability to continue despite mistakes. Every fluent speaker makes errors, even native speakers. The difference is emotional recovery. Confident communicators recover quickly. They do not collapse emotionally after one small mistake. Now, let's discuss another powerful fluency secret. Questions are more powerful than long explanations. Weak communicators try to prove intelligence by talking too much. Strong communicators create engagement. And engagement comes from curiosity. Imagine someone asks, "How was your weekend?" Many learners answer like this: "It was good." Conversation finished. But advanced communicators extend conversations naturally. "It was good, actually. I tried Ethiopian food for the first time. Have you ever tried injera before?" Now the conversation becomes alive. Great communication is not only about answering. It is about inviting. Invite people into the conversation. Another advanced tip most learners never hear is this: stop translating emotions word for word from your native language. Many learners know grammar but struggle emotionally in English. For example, in some cultures people speak very indirectly. In others, people speak extremely directly. But English communication often depends heavily on tone. For example, "That's interesting." This sentence can mean genuine interest, or disagreement, or confusion, or even annoyance. Tone changes meaning. That is why listening matters as much as speaking. Train yourself to hear emotional patterns. Notice when speakers sound enthusiastic, curious, professional, relaxed, sarcastic, confident. English fluency is emotional intelligence combined with language skills. And once you understand this, your communication becomes more human. Now I want to talk about storytelling. Because storytelling is one of the most powerful speaking skills in the world. People forget information, but they remember stories. If you want people to remember your English, tell stories. Not huge, dramatic story. For example, instead of saying, "I was late today," you could say, "This morning was chaos. My alarm didn't ring. I spilled coffee on my shirt, and then my taxi driver got lost." Suddenly your English feels alive. Stories create images, and images create emotional memory. This is why excellent communicators are excellent storytellers. And here is another important lesson. Your accent is not your enemy. Many learners feel ashamed of their accent, but clarity matters more than accent perfection. Some of the most influential people in the world speak English with strong accents. What matters is, can people understand you? Can you express ideas clearly? Can you connect emotionally? That is real communication. Do not waste years trying to erase your identity. Instead, focus on pronunciation clarity. Learn stress. Learn rhythm. Learn intonation. Because communication is not about sounding American or British. It is about sounding understandable and confident. Now, let's discuss the famous 3-2-1 speaking method. This technique can dramatically improve your English communication. Step 1. Pause for 3 seconds before answering important questions. Most people react immediately. Confident communicators respond intentionally. Those 3 seconds help organize thoughts. Step 2. Give only 2 main points. Do not overload listeners with 10 different ideas. Strong communication is structured. Step 3. End with 1 engaging question. Questions create interaction. For example, what are the 2 biggest challenges in your job right now? And how are you currently dealing with them? Now the conversation becomes meaningful. This structure works in interviews, meetings, friendships, presentations, networking, even dating. Because organized communication feels trustworthy. And trust is the foundation of influence. Now, if you're still watching, that tells me something important. You're serious about improving. And honestly, I respect that. Learning English is emotionally difficult sometimes. People only see the language, but they do not see the frustration behind it, the embarrassment, the fear, the self-doubt, the mental exhaustion. But listen carefully. Every confident English speaker you admire once struggled too. Nobody begins fluent. Fluency is built sentence by sentence, conversation by conversation, mistake by mistake. So if this lesson is helping you, take 1 second to like the video, subscribe to Daily English, and comment below with 1 communication habit you want to improve this month. I want this community to grow together. Now, let's continue. Another powerful communication principle is emotional pacing. Great speakers change energy levels intentionally. Sometimes they speak slowly, sometimes faster, sometimes softly, sometimes intensely. This creates emotional movement. Monotone speech kills attention. And this is something many learners accidentally develop because they focus too heavily on grammar accuracy. They become emotionally flat. But communication is performance, not fake performance, human performance. Emotion keeps language alive. Imagine someone saying, "I got the job." Now compare this. "I actually got the job." After 3 interviews, they finally said yes. Feel the difference? The second version creates emotion. That emotional movement makes your English memorable. Another advanced fluency tip is learning response patterns. Native speakers often use flexible speaking patterns instead of fully original sentences every time. For example, "That reminds me of," "to be honest." The interesting thing is, what surprised me most was, "Here's the problem," "That's a good question, actually." These phrases buy thinking time. They reduce mental pressure. They increase fluency naturally. Professional communicators rely heavily on patterns. And you should too. Another major breakthrough comes when learners stop fearing repetition. Repetition is not weakness. Strategic repetition creates emphasis. Great speakers repeat important ideas intentionally. For example, confidence is built through action, not perfection. Action, not talent. Action. That rhythm creates impact. Now, let's discuss listening. Because many people want to become powerful speakers without becoming powerful listeners. That never works. The best communicators listen deeply, not just waiting to respond, actually listening. People feel respected when they feel heard. And strong listeners become strong speakers because they understand emotional timing. One excellent exercise is conversation journaling. After important conversations, write down, what expressions sounded natural? What phrases created connection? Where did communication become awkward? What vocabulary repeated frequently? This trains awareness. Fluent people notice patterns. Now let's talk about confidence in professional environments. Many English learners become extremely nervous during meetings, especially when surrounded by fluent speakers. Here is the truth. You do not need to dominate meetings to sound intelligent. You only need to contribute clearly. One thoughtful sentence can create more impact than 5 minutes of rambling. For example, "I think we're focusing on the wrong problem. The real issue seems to be customer trust."
Short, clear, direct.
That sounds powerful. Remember this. Strong communicators edit themselves. They remove unnecessary words. They value precision. Another communication habit that changes everything is summarizing. After listening, summarize the key point. For example, "So, if I understand correctly, the main concern is timing, right?" This immediately makes you sound professional, thoughtful, present, and it reduces misunderstanding. Now, let's discuss emotional resilience. Because many learners quit emotionally before they fail academically. Some people stop speaking English because of one embarrassing moment. Maybe someone laughed. Maybe someone corrected them harshly. Maybe they froze during a presentation. But one moment does not define your future. Do not build permanent fear from temporary embarrassment. Every skilled communicator has uncomfortable stories. I once knew an engineer named Samuel. Brilliant mind. Terrible speaking confidence. During one international meeting, he mispronounced several words and became extremely embarrassed. Afterward, he wanted to avoid meetings completely. But instead of hiding, he practiced consistently for 6 months. Small daily speaking exercises, listening practice, presentation training, conversation repetition. 1 year later, he was leading regional presentations confidently. Not because fear disappeared, but because practice became stronger than fear. And that can happen for you too. Another advanced tip is this. Stop trying to sound perfect immediately. Instead, focus on sounding clear first, then natural. then expressive. Fluency develops in layers. Many learners skip layers and become frustrated. Be patient with yourself. Real growth is gradual. Now, let's discuss body language. Your communication begins before your words. If your shoulders collapse, your breathing becomes shallow. Your voice weakens. Your confidence drops. But when you stand taller and breathe deeply, your voice changes naturally. Your body influences your psychology. Before important conversations, slow your breathing, relax your jaw, open your posture. This instantly improves vocal clarity. And here is another hidden secret. Many advanced English speakers are not mentally translating while speaking. They think in emotional images. For example, if you say beach, native speakers do not translate. They visualize. Train yourself to connect English with images and experiences directly. This speeds up fluency dramatically. Now I want to discuss social confidence. Because language is social. Some learners study English alone for years, but rarely interact. Eventually, they understand English but fear real conversations. You cannot become socially confident without social practice. So start small. Talk to cashiers. Join online speaking groups. Record voice messages. Participate in discussions. Confidence grows through exposure, not avoidance. And remember this, you do not need everyone to like your English. You only need communication courage. Some people will always judge. That is life. But many people will respect your effort, admire your courage, and support your growth. Never let fear of judgment silence your progress. Now, let's move into advanced conversation flow. Great conversations feel balanced. Not interviews.
Not monologues.
Balance. Good communicators know when to speak, when to pause, when to ask questions, when to shift topics. One technique I love is emotional linking. Instead of changing topics suddenly, connect emotionally. For example, that reminds me of something similar that happened to me last year. This creates smooth conversation transitions. Another advanced skill is conversational framing. Confident speakers often frame conversations positively. Instead of saying, "This is impossible," they say, "This is difficult, but manageable." Instead of, "My English is terrible," they say, "I'm improving my fluency step by step." Language shapes mindset, and mindset shapes communication. Now, let's discuss one of the biggest fluency killers. Over-apologizing. Many English learners constantly apologize. Sorry for my English. Sorry my grammar is bad. Sorry I cannot speak perfectly. Stop beginning conversations by lowering your value. You are learning. You are improving. You are communicating in a second language. That is impressive. Speak with self-respect. You can still be humble without destroying your confidence. Another excellent fluency technique is voice recording. Record yourself speaking for 2 minutes daily. Not reading. Speaking naturally. Then listen back. At first, you may feel uncomfortable. Almost everyone does. But this builds self-awareness faster than almost anything else. You begin noticing repetitive words, weak pronunciation, unclear rhythm, flat emotion, and slowly you improve. Progress becomes visible. Now, let's discuss emotional storytelling in English. People connect through vulnerability. You do not need to sound perfect. You need to sound human. When appropriate, share experiences, struggles, lessons, growth. Humanity creates connection. That is why some speakers feel unforgettable. Not because they are flawless, but because they feel real. Now we are approaching one of the most important lessons in this entire video. Your English journey is not only about language, it is about identity. Many learners secretly believe, "I am not a confident person. I am not a natural speaker. I am too shy. I started too late." But identities can change. The person you are today is not the final version of you. Confidence is trainable. Communication is trainable. Fluency is trainable. Everything changes when you stop seeing yourself as someone who cannot speak English well. Instead, see yourself as someone actively becoming fluent. Growth identities create growth behavior. And now, before we finish, I want to say something important. If this video has helped you think differently about English communication, subscribe to Daily English, like this video, and comment below with one sentence in English describing the confident version of yourself you are becoming. I truly want you to remember this moment, because years from now, your future confidence may begin with the lessons you practice today. Now, let's finish strong. Real fluency is not sounding perfect. It is expressing yourself freely. It is speaking without constant fear. It is connecting with people. It is sharing ideas. It is creating opportunities. It is building relationships. English is not only a language. For many people, it becomes a bridge to education, a bridge to friendships, a bridge to travel, a bridge to confidence, a bridge to a completely different future. And if you continue practicing consistently, patiently, courageously, your future can absolutely change. There will be difficult days. There will be frustrating conversations. There will be moments where your brain freezes.
Keep going.
Every sentence you speak matters. Every conversation builds strength. Every mistake teaches something valuable. Do not compare your beginning to someone else's 10-year journey. Your path is your own. And honestly, the fact that you stayed through this lesson already tells me something powerful about you. You care about growth. You care about communication. You care about becoming better. That mindset alone can change your entire life. So, the next time fear appears before speaking English, remember this. People are not waiting for perfection. They are waiting for clarity, energy, confidence, connection. And those are skills you can build, one conversation at a time. Thank you for spending this time with me. Keep practicing.
Keep speaking.
Keep growing. And I'll see you in the next daily English lesson.